going to hunt you down. He's going to find out what's going on. And that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really corrupt and goofy systems and bringing in a bunch of psychopath wizards.
Joe Rogan is fired up, and this time, his target is none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Things got intense fast after Whoopi made a bold accusation about tech billionaire Elon Musk, and now the backlash is out of control. It all began when Whoopi claimed Elon was using his massive fortune and influence to bend government policies to his will. But here's the shocking part. She didn't offer any proof whatsoever to back it up. Despite having no real evidence, Whoopi spoke as if she knew every detail, and the media gobbled it up. Her comments quickly went viral, leaving the public stunned and divided. But Elon Musk wasn't about to sit back and let his name get dragged through the mud. Just a few days later, he dropped a bombshell, a staggering $900 million defamation lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg. According to Musk's legal team, the fallout from Whoopi's remarks was immediate and damaging. They claimed Tesla's stock price took a nosedive right after her words hit the headlines. And that's not all. The lawsuit also warned that Whoopi's accusations could scare off future investors and crush upcoming business deals. Elon's team made it clear. This wasn't just gossip, it was dangerous. They demanded Whoopi take full responsibility, including a public apology and a complete retraction of her statements. But they didn't stop there. They insisted she pay financial damages for the harm done. Behind the scenes, sources say Elon was completely shocked by the whole thing. One insider said he was like, "What the heck just happened?" Musk was stunned that someone with Whoopi's platform would go that far. And in a twist nobody saw coming,
everyone had something to say, but no one said, "Oh, well, how you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing?"
Yeah.
Because it involves so many other things, and I think that it is a matter of how we treat ourselves.
But I get people think things are funny because they don't think about the person they're making fun of. You and I are both guilty of doing that. Of course.
The Anti-Defamation League actually came to Musk's defense, adding even more heat to this firestorm. People were definitely not expecting that. When Whoopi finally showed up in court, the energy shifted instantly. The drama was real, and all eyes were on her as emotions ran high. Reports from the courtroom say Whoopi couldn't hold it together. She broke down in tears, overwhelmed by the serious legal pressure she was facing. It was a shocking moment for everyone in the room. Through her tears, Whoopi admitted she had no idea her comments would lead to something this serious. She never thought Elon would hit back this hard, but now there was no turning back. She told the court she respected Musk as a successful businessman, and she didn't mean to cause harm, but still stood by her concerns about billionaires influencing politics. Her apology came with mixed messages, but Musk's legal team wasn't moved by the tears or the apology. They said this wasn't a misunderstanding. Whoopi had delivered her words as cold, hard facts, not casual opinions. That's what makes this case such a bombshell. The difference between opinion and accusation could make or break everything. And it didn't stop there. Joe Rogan entered the chat, and when he did, he lit the fuse. On his podcast, Rogan ripped into Whoopi's courtroom breakdown and said it was way too little, way too late. He blasted her for using her huge platform so recklessly, claiming that celebrities need to be way more careful with their words. Rogan didn't let up for a second. He slammed The View for letting Whoopi say such bold claims without anyone asking for evidence. According to Joe, that's not journalism. That's just stirring the pot for views. Rogan argued that shows like The View are turning into echo chambers, where wild opinions get tossed around as if they're undeniable facts, and when things blow up, they play the victim. He didn't stop there. Rogan called out the whole system for protecting certain voices while shutting others down. According to him, if a conservative said what Whoopi did, the media would have demanded proof instantly. Joe Rogan didn't hold back.
You're not really making the world a better place.
Right.
You're just allowing these financial institutions to enact control over corporations. And it's a really shifty, weird way they're doing it by making it seem like they're trying to make the world a better, more equal place.
As he laid into the media for how they handled the entire situation. He pointed out how the media outlets ran with Whoopi's accusations without a second thought. Instead of questioning the validity of her statements, they amplified her words as though they were the gospel truth. According to Rogan, this is the real problem in today's media landscape, the lack of accountability. Misinformation gets spread as long as it fits the narrative the media wants to push. The moment someone tries to hold those in power accountable for spreading falsehoods, they're treated like the villain. And Rogan's not just criticizing Whoopi, he's calling out the entire system for enabling this kind of behavior. When a public figure says something as serious as what Whoopi did, it shouldn't be allowed to slide by without consequences. People who have massive platforms like Whoopi need to be held to the same standards as everyone else. They don't get a free pass just because they're celebrities. What really got to Joe was how Whoopi tried to walk back her words once the lawsuit was filed. Suddenly, she was claiming it was all just a joke.
You know, when you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't.
Rogan wasn't buying it for a second. He pointed out that Whoopi's tone when she made those statements was serious, not funny, not lighthearted, but direct. It wasn't a slip of the tongue or a bad joke. It was an accusation against a billionaire with enormous influence, and that kind of statement carries weight. So why try to spin it into something harmless after the fact? Rogan called out the hypocrisy of trying to downplay the situation once the consequences started coming down hard. Whoopi's response in court was telling too. The way she cried and got emotional seemed like an attempt to soften the blow, but it only made things worse in Rogan's eyes. If she was truly just joking, then why would she break down so intensely when the lawsuit was filed? Rogan believes this was a sign that Whoopi knew she messed up big time. Even after the emotional courtroom scene, the damage was done. Rogan pointed out that Whoopi's attempt to explain away her comments made everything look even more suspicious. If she really believed what she said wasn't that serious, why go through all the theatrics? Why not just own it? And let's not forget about Whoopi's co-hosts on The View. When the backlash hit, they jumped to her defense, claiming that her words were misinterpreted. Joy Behar went so far as to suggest that the lawsuit was nothing more than an intimidation tactic. Sunny Hostin also threw in her 2 cents, suggesting that Musk was using the lawsuit to silence Whoopi and her team. Rogan wasn't buying their defense either. He pointed out how ridiculous it was for the View crew to claim it was all a misunderstanding when the words Whoopi used were so specific. She didn't accidentally stumble into making vague comments. She made clear accusations about Elon Musk's influence in politics, and those kinds of statements need to be backed up with solid evidence. This isn't the first time Whoopi has found herself in hot water.
Everybody makes the choice in life. If I have to be concerned that you are upset with me, you're thinking, oh, you and I have a connection. You don't realize there are 10,000 other people who are yelling the same stuff at me.
Rogan reminded his listeners that Whoopi has a history of making questionable remarks and then trying to walk them back when things go sideways. It's becoming a pattern. She says something controversial, gets a response, then suddenly acts like it was all a mistake or misinterpreted. But here's the thing. If you have a huge platform like Whoopi's, you can't afford to make these kinds of slip-ups. Millions of people tune in to The View every day, and when you make claims that can destroy someone's reputation, especially someone as high-profile as Elon Musk, there are real consequences. People's livelihoods, stock prices, and reputations are on the line. That's why Joe Rogan insists that Whoopi should have known better. She has a responsibility, just like every other public figure with influence. If she's going to throw accusations around, she needs to be ready to back them up with real facts, not just opinion or hearsay. Rogan also made a powerful point about the way the media handled the entire situation. After Whoopi's comments went viral, many outlets sided with her, even after the lawsuit was filed. They didn't question the legitimacy of her accusations or even check for the facts. Instead, they continued to paint Elon Musk as the villain without taking a hard look at the evidence. Joe said that this reaction from the media is part of the larger problem, the media's bias and how it picks and chooses which narratives to promote. It's dangerous because it gives people like Whoopi a free pass to say whatever they want, regardless of the truth. And when the backlash finally hits, they can always play the victim card and claim that their words were taken out of context. This is why Rogan believes the media needs to be held accountable too. It's not just the people making these statements, it's the platforms that amplify them. If someone like Whoopi can make accusations with no proof, and the media just runs with it, that's a problem for everyone. Joe Rogan's commentary has struck a nerve with many of his listeners, especially those who are tired of seeing celebrities and the media get away with spreading misinformation. For Rogan, this isn't just about one lawsuit or one celebrity. It's about the broader issue of accountability in the media and entertainment industries. People in positions of power and influence need to be held to account when they spread falsehoods. Rogan's stance has earned him plenty of support, but there's also been a backlash from people who think he's too harsh. Either way, this case is heating up, and it's far from over. Whoopi may have apologized, but the lawsuit is still pushing forward, and it's about to get even messier.
You know, when you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't.
Elon Musk's legal team is reportedly digging deep to gather evidence to prove that Whoopi's comments were not only false, but seriously damaging to Musk's reputation. Whoopi's future in the public eye now hangs in the balance. She may have tried to soften the situation with her emotional breakdown in court, but the truth is, as for Musk, he's not backing down. He's taking this all the way through the courts to make sure his name is cleared and that people understand the real consequences of making baseless accusations. As the case moves forward, both sides are gearing up for what could be a monumental legal battle. Musk's team is gathering all the ammunition they need to prove that Whoopi's comments were not just damaging, but downright false.
This is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest fucking statement.
If they can make their case, it could set a major precedent for how celebrities and media figures handle public accusations. Whoopi may have tried to distance herself from her statements in court, but it's clear that the legal fight is far from over. Her emotional breakdown was an attempt to soften the situation, but it only made her look even more guilty of what she said. Musk's team is pushing ahead, determined to hold Whoopi accountable for her reckless words. And then there's the media. They're not off the hook either. As Joe Rogan pointed out, the way they've covered this story has been nothing short of irresponsible. Instead of digging into the facts and questioning Whoopi's claims, they've been complicit in spreading the false narrative. The media's role in all this is just as questionable as Whoopi's actions, and it's becoming a bigger part of the conversation. Rogan isn't backing down from his criticism, and he's making it clear that the media, just like Whoopi, need to be held accountable for spreading misinformation without any real evidence to back it up. The entire situation has shone a light on the power dynamics at play. Celebrities have huge platforms, but they have a responsibility to use them carefully. It's not just about Elon Musk or Whoopi Goldberg anymore. It's about what this case represents. It's about the power of media influence, the impact of unchecked accusations, and the need for accountability in the public sphere. And whether people like it or not, this case is going to be a turning point in how we deal with false claims in the media and the consequences they bring. As for Whoopi, her attempts to backtrack and soften her comments are doing more harm than good.
Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen audiences before for TV shows, but a lot of them are paid. They're paid to be there.
She's already made a huge impact, but now she's facing the consequences of her words. Her breakdown in court may have shown vulnerability, but it didn't change the fact that she made some bold claims with no evidence to back them up. And as the legal process plays out, it's clear that Joe Rogan is ready to keep calling out the media, the celebrities, and the whole system that lets people get away with making baseless accusations. Rogan believes that if you're going to have a platform, you better be ready to stand by your words, because when the truth comes calling, you can't just play the victim. Elon Musk, on the other hand, isn't letting this slide. He's got a lot at stake here. His reputation, his business, and his investors are all riding on the outcome of this case. And if Whoopi's accusations can be proven false, it could send a message that false information and baseless claims come with consequences. At the end of the day, this case is about more than just a celebrity feud or a high-profile lawsuit. It's about accountability, both for the people making these claims and the media outlets that amplify them. The question remains, will Whoopi Goldberg be held responsible for her actions, or will she get a free pass because of her celebrity status? One thing is for sure, this legal battle isn't going anywhere anytime soon. As the fight continues to unfold, the world will be watching to see how it all ends. Will Whoopi face the consequences of her reckless words, or will Elon Musk prove that even the most powerful celebrities aren't above the law? The drama continues, and as always, it's a story that keeps everyone on the edge of their seats. Who will come out on top? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Joe Rogan will be watching closely, ready to call out anyone who crosses the line again.
If you like this video, so don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon and give your precious reviews in the comment section below.